So I thought I would record this short video going over the Hog rework because it's not that good. Unfortunately, Spolo got to it before me, but that's how life is sometimes. I was busy editing yesterday, so it's a bit unfortunate. But I'm going to split this video into 3 parts. So I guess the first part is, the Hog was obviously good because of the one shot, right? Like, let's all be real. You hooked an enemy, you could shoot them pretty much anywhere you wanted to, and it was basically a guaranteed one shot, regardless. Yes, Hook was on an 8-second cooldown back then, but for 8 seconds, if you hit your hooks, you basically got a free pick. I'm going to talk about the one shot a bit later, and it's still technically doable, but there's a whole lot more variables that prevent it from being a lot more consistent than it was. The reason why one shot was, obviously removed was because it was very frustrating for the average player, obviously, right? Like, a 20-meter hook range, that's a one shot, was very frustrating for a lot of flex supports. I think most Hog players will argue that it's mainly a skill issue, and it's mainly just punishing bad positioning, which I think is a fair point to some degree. But my counter-argument to that would be the risk-reward is just too high. I think the reward as you get as Hog for hooking and landing a hook is just too high, and you don't take enough risk for it, right? Sure, heroes like Honor did exist, which did increase the risk, but you were still fundamentally a 700 HP hero with a 50% damage reduction, a massive self-heal, and insane damage, right? Like, that was what Hog was. And especially in ranked, a nade and a sleep dart didn't always mean you died. In lower ranked especially, for the average player, it was definitely unfun to play against. In coordinated play, Honor still wasn't amazing, because Kiriko was a thing. I showed the Rosin comment on the screen, I think, but basically we played in it's like 4.5k elo, high GM. We just played Hog Kiriko last year, and we just destroyed everyone, because Kiriko just heal botted the Hog, and that's how it went. So that's why he needed to be reworked, which I think is fine. Now to the second part in terms of like what does Hog need, right? Because something needs to replace the one shot. Clearly the one shot was unfair, but something needs to come in replacement for that. And I think the main answer is going to be in utility, right? So we look at the rework, we look at the 3 things they did. I'm not going to go over it too in depth because KarQ just did a way better job than I could ever do. But obviously the gun, right, it's a lot more consistent at all ranges. No more of like that BS, lucky, fluky, one-shotting someone, when you're up close, or 80 meters away, I think the distance was. That felt a bit fluky, so I think the gun's a pretty good change. The breather was a pretty good change as well, I think. It's less potent, but it's way more flexible in terms of how you can use it. However, the rework that I don't like, the pig pen, now this bloody ability, it's just not, like, this is supposed to be Hog's utility, right? It's a 12-second CD that has 100 HP in itself, like this can be destroyed, right? It's got 100 HP, I think. And all it does is 60 damage if you land in it. And then it does some DPS over time if you stay in it, which nobody is going to do, right? It's just not useful. Like, it's genuinely not useful. Like, obviously, I've seen Hog players try and pre-place it and then try and do a one-shot, and that's how you can actually do the one-shot nowadays. But it's just inconsistent to do, and it's a 12-second CD, right? So now to actually land the one-shots, you need to wait a 12-second CD, you need to land the hook, right? And even without Pigpen, you can still do it, right? But you need perfect crosshair placements, you need to land the hook, you need to actually walk, you need to melee, and there can't be any healing between the hook and the shots. And your hero needs to have a good hitbox, i.e. your hero can't be slim like Kiriko or Moira, because they're not enough pellets or hits. There's a lot more qualifications for the one shot now, which I think is fine, but the utility is just useless. Now the reason why I'm on Hollywood showing this is because there is actually some niche utility for this, right? So there's 2 main uses, which is bouncing on the corner, and then making sure that these guys just can't swing the corner as aggressively, and also preventing flankers like Tracer. So for example, Tracer, she might want to come through this building, right? Pigpen can actually be really powerful in denying that, and denying the staging to a dive. That's what I think Pigpen can be good for. And also, Pigpen I think is actually really strong in defense, or where you have map control, which is most of the time defense, right? Because you can just plant it around the corner, right? Which has 2 benefits. It stops the enemy team from being able to shoot the Pigpen, and it also means that the Pigpen, as you can see in the bottom right, is getting recharged, which means you effectively get 2 charges of Pigpen. So you can shoot, hook, swing, make them move in this direction, they land in the trap, you shoot, melee, and then throw another trap behind them, and then you get 2 traps, right? And then that's like your maximum effectiveness. And then you also get a really nice corner to play around and stabilize, right? You can back up to here, and you can rotate to high ground, and then look for a cheeky hook, right? I think Hog is actually really powerful on Hollywoods. And the same thing applies to here as well. You can also deny this entire angle with hook, right? Hook, boom, you know, right there. That's why I think Pigpen is actually really strong. But on attack, or you're trying to move into people's map control, or if the enemy team comp is too wide or too split, or if you just can't land that many hooks, or there's just too many things need to go right for the new Hog to actually be well and you know, do good stuff, right? I will also say, he's bad against Sigma, and Sigma's meta right now. You know, Saudi comp, World Cup, I'll put some stuff on the screen. But that's meta right now, and Sigma is just a better Hog. Sigma's more survivable, he's got more consistent damage, he's got a better ultimate, he bleeds less HP because of his shield, he can stay on off angles, like, he's just way better in every single dimension. Sigma is way better than Hog. It basically, in shorts, Hog either needs his one shot back, which is never going to happen because it's too frustrating, or he needs some massive amount of utility. Which leads me into the third part, the future. You know, what does Hog need? What can we do to make Hog better? And I think the main thing is honestly gonna have to be a massive buff to Pigpen, right? That's one issue, also one thing that they can do, right? So, reduce the damage of Pigpen, reduce the CD, increase the throwing speed, and make sure that the area of effect is way larger than this, right? Like, don't make it like I have to step on this. Make it like I have to step like around here, and then I feel the effect, and then it like goes kaboom, right? Make the AoE or the area of effect way larger, and give him 2 charges, by the way. So you could plant one right there, you could plant one there, and then, you know, you can deny a flank, and then you also get big damage and big area of denial. And then the other thing they can do is, why not give his AoE vape back? Why not do that? Like, that was actually a really good rework change. I mean, it would mean that Hog would become the first ground tank in the game to peel. Because who's the only tank in the game right now that can peel? D.Va, right? And, you know, D.Va's got mobility, Hog hasn't. So I think Hog could actually provide some good competition to D.Va. And then, you know, if your team are getting dove, you can just pop the breather, have the AoE effect, right? Have that really good strong utility, and be a really good anti-dive character. I think that's something that Hog could definitely play into. So I don't know why it didn't decide to go through with it. I think the change they did was healing instead of damage reduction, but I think maybe they did both, I think, back in Overwatch 1 on the experimental card. But I don't know why they didn't go through with it. I think that could have been a really good niche for Hog. Also, we'll say last thing, 9 minutes, this video's 9 minutes now. Don't give the devs too much slack for this, because again, the Hog rework change didn't do much. But keep in mind, the devs probably did try 1,000 different things and 1,000 different reworks and see what stuck. Why they didn't go through with the vape change, the AoE vape change, I don't know. That obviously that's up to Aaron Keller and the design team to unpack there. But yeah, this whole rework is very disappointing. Probably the worst rework we've gotten so far. Orisa, Bastion, Sombra, they've all gotten way better reworks than Hog in my opinion. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts down below, and like the video, go check my coaching, by the way, coaching down below, coaching, and yeah, see you till next time.